When we're young, we have an amazing, positive outlook about how great life is going to be, but somewhere along the line, we forget to dream and end up settling. Join Up Dots features amazing people who refuse to give up and chose to go after their dreams. This is your blueprint for greatness. So here's your host, live from the back of his garden in the UK, David Ralph.
Yeah, good morning to you, and welcome to the Join Up Dots podcast. Thank you so much for being here. Really appreciate having your ears, really appreciate having your body and your mind, because mindset is where it all comes down to. We get emails and comments from people saying, you used to be a business show, you used to talk to people. Yeah, we did. We did. But we realised that we were getting an awful lot of people coming through to us that were wanting to start their own business, but they weren't right themselves. They were kind of thinking, if I start my own business, then all my problems would be solved. I don't like working for this man that I'm working for, so I just start my own business, and it doesn't really work that way. You've got to set your foundations right, and your foundations start with setting you right. So that's why we do a bit of everything. We do a bit of health, a bit of mindset, but more often than not, it is about setting those foundations. Well, the other day we did a podcast episode, and I thought it was an Emmy Award-winning podcast, actually, if I say so myself, about morning routines. And we had an email from a guy called Jim, who was saying that he was struggling to follow the uber successful's examples of what they do first thing in the morning. And the problem with that is the uber successfuls kind of have built their whole day, not just their morning. Their morning is just something that they've structured, and then they structure their next bit. And normal people, like the rest of us, we basically try to add this onto our day when everything else is us being pushed from pillar to post. We're flying down to the station, we're getting our cars out of the garage because we've got to whiz the kids to school and we've got to whiz back, and then we think, okay, what I'll be even more productive by adding something on before everybody else wakes up. And it doesn't really work. So what we said is just don't do like a superhero morning routine. Just do one or two things. Because as you'll see in these listener responses, the key thing to a morning routine has nothing to do with what you're doing. It's about having the intention of starting your day under your control. That's the end of it. It doesn't matter if you do a healthy breakfast. It doesn't matter if you do exercises. It doesn't matter if you do gratitude meditation. Whatever you do makes not a blind bit of difference, but what it does do is it means that you get out of your bed ready to tackle something which normally will have a knock-on effect for everything else through the day. So as we will see with today, and we've got a guy from Turin, Bangalore, Cape Town, Brisbane, Buenos Aires, Tokyo, and Vancouver in Canada. And they've all, in the last few days, just tried to start something of a new morning routine. And they will share what they've done, and hopefully one of these will prick your interest and you might be able to do it yourself. So without further ado, okay, so I'm going to give a round of applause at the beginning and at the end. So if you don't get one in the podcast episode, you'll get one, a cumulative one at the end. Okay, so this is from Marco from Turin in Italy, and he said, I've been an in and out listener to Join Up Dots for a couple of years now. I understand that. You listen to it for a bit, and then you go off to somewhere else, and then you come back. But your recent episode on morning routines really motivated me to make some changes. I realised I've been... Excuse me, I've still got a bad cough. I realised I've been waking up at the last minute, scrambling through my mornings, and now I'm setting my alarm for 6 a.m, doing a quick workout and taking 10 minutes to plan out my day, and I'm already feeling more focused and energised. Thanks for the inspiration. All the best, Marco. Marco, you are absolutely welcome. And I love that, because you're not doing a huge workout, you're just doing a quick workout. And I think just doing a few star jumps or a few press-ups or, something along those lines. It doesn't have to be huge. I lay in my bed, as I say, and I do yoga nidra, and then I sit on the side of my bed, and I've got one of those tension rubber band things, and I just kind of do some stretching. And I don't do it every day. Some days I wake up and I go off and do something else, but I try to build it into my life. And once again, it just means that you're focused on yourself, and if you're focused on yourself, life will change. So Marco, well done to you. Priya from Bangalore has dropped us a line and says, after hearing the episode on morning routines, I decided to also build my own. I always wanted a smoother start to my day, but I never knew where to begin. Now I wake up an hour earlier, I do a short yoga session, I write down my goals, and I meditate, and my productivity has doubled. I'm feeling more balanced, she says. You've helped me make my mornings my favourite part of the day. I think the morning should be the perfect part of the day, shouldn't it? Because if they start off terrible, your whole day generally follows suit, because then once again your mindset goes into everything's rubbish, everything's going bad, and you start looking for things that are bad. One of the things I would suggest, Priya, is I like to write down my goals the night before. So I kind of go to bed ready for the next morning. I don't wake up and think, what am I going to do today? I write down 4 or 5 things that I know as soon as I wake up I'm going to do. And then it's like today, my whole day is based around watching Ipswich play Tottenham in the Premier League today. And so I had to get up early to do what I need to do so that I can then go and pick my mum up to take her to the war memorial for the celebrations this morning. And then I've got to be back for the football. So I knew that there were certain things that I had to do to make those happen. So I wrote those down last night. So I got out of bed, bang, ready to go. So I kind of find that works better, but if you want to do them first thing in the morning, that's up to you. Jonah from Cape Town in South Africa says, I listened to your morning routine episode and thought, why not try? Yeah, absolutely. Why not try? Why not try anything? I say this to people. You don't know if you're not going to like it. You go into a restaurant and most people choose the same kind of food. My son always, if we're in a pub, he goes for scampi and chips. He says you can't screw up scampi and chips. And I understand his point of view, but I say to him, you're not going to screw up other stuff. It's all there. But no, he sticks to what he wants. I think to yourself, just try it. And if you don't like it, fair enough. But you might go, well, this is wonderful. I might start cooking it myself at home, and it just takes you into a different world by trying. So Jonas says, I've been following a simple but structured routine for the last few days. 20 minutes of exercise, 10 minutes of planning, and then a healthy breakfast. It's only been a few days, but I'm already more focused and energized. Thank you for pushing me to take that first step. I didn't push you. You were ready. You were ready, and that's the key thing. I can do 1,000 podcast episodes. I can do whatever. I can sit in front of people. But if they're not ready for it, they're not ready for it. And then sometimes you are and sometimes you're not. I know that myself. If my wife wants me to do a job, I've got to basically go, right, okay, it's going to happen on Tuesday. And then I wake up with that intention to get it done. If she just throws it at me, I think, I can't be bothered. Why does it have to be done now? You've got to be ready for it. And I'm probably speaking for all the husbands out there in the world. Now, Yasmin from Brisbane in Australia says, after listening to your episode on morning routines, I've made big changes. Now I'm up at 5:30 a.m. every day. I take a walk. I spend some quiet time planning my top goals. That's it. It's not a huge, big thing. The difference in my focus and energy has been incredible. Thanks for the practical advice and inspiration. Yeah, I think so. I used to get up and do a walk all the time, but in the winter I used to walk for about 1.5 miles really early in the morning, and the only people around were like foxes and milkmen, and I started to get sort of chest infections and stuff because of the cold air. So I kind of stopped that. But if you live somewhere like Brisbane, where I imagine it's pretty warm all the time, then yeah, that's brilliant. Just a brisk walk around the block, you can get your mind set, you start to get your heart pumping, bang, and you've come back ready to go. Like Thomas from Buenos Aires says, the morning routine episode really hit home for me. I was stuck in the habit of scrolling through my phone as soon as I woke up. Now I start my day with a quick workout. I set 3 simple goals for the day and eat a healthy breakfast, and the productivity boost is real. Thank you for giving me the push I needed. No, it's all down to you. So what have we learned so far? It's about intention and control. As I said at the beginning of the podcast episode, if you start your day intentionally and you control what you can control, there's going to be things that come your way that you can't do anything about. Just relax. Just let it go. But if you can control what you can control, then most things will go your way. And I'm a great believer in that. I don't just say these words because, I think it sounds good on a podcast episode. I say them because I totally believe them. Control what you can control. Don't worry about other people's actions because you can't do anything about it. Don't worry about that person that cuts you up. Don't worry about anything that has nothing to do with you. You're just there when it happens. But just control how you act, how you react, and what you actually do each day, and you will be good. Like Akiko from Tokyo, Japan. I'm Akiko from Tokyo, Japan, she says, which is great. After hearing your episode on morning routines, I knew it was time to make a change. I've started waking up slightly earlier, spending just a few minutes stretching, and then writing down my intentions for the day. This small adjustment has made a big difference in my energy and focus. I'm grateful to Join Up Dots. I like this, not setting goals, but having intentions. Because goals are kind of, they must be achieved. But intentions are, I really want to achieve this, but they're a little bit more fluid, I imagine. If you get halfway through an intention, you've kind of done your best. And if you've done your best, then that's good enough. I was speaking to a guy the other day, and he literally beats himself up all the time because he sets these huge lists and he only gets 3 or 4 into them. And I said, well, 3 or 4 is something done. He says, yeah, but I was planning to do this. I go, yeah, but life happens. Life happens when you're busy making other plans. And John Lennon said that, and I think it's absolutely true. We all wake up with these things that we say we're going to do, and I do it with the wife. I say, by the time you get back, I would have done this, I would have done that, and life sometimes just takes over. And she comes back and she says, oh, didn't you get a chance to do that? I go, I didn't, but it will be my first thing tomorrow. And I get up and I then tick it off the list. So, life happens, but you can make things happen as well. And the last one is from a really sexy guy. I love the name, David from Vancouver in Canada. And he says, I've been trying out the morning routine tips you shared on Join Up Dots. My mornings were always rushed and chaotic. Now I prepare everything the night before and I set my alarm 30 minutes earlier. I do a quick workout and I'm ready to go. It's been a huge boost to my productivity and mindset. So as simple as that. I'm a great believer, as I say, getting everything the night before, especially if you've got kids. Get the kids down and then prepare their lunch, get all their clothes set out, and just know that you don't have to do that. I used to get the kids up in the morning, and my wife used to work nights. Years ago, and I used to get everything lined up. They would get up, and basically we would cross. I'd go off to work, and then the wife would come in just as I was leaving, and it was all organised, and it was organised because we were organised. Key thing, if we were trying to make it up as we went along, it would be very different. So if you were thinking about that, thinking, I could get up another 15 minutes earlier, or I could just prepare the night before, or I could just be intentional, then things will start to happen for you. So if you're inspired by that podcast episode, joinupdots@gmail.com, drop us a line and just tell us in a very short email what you're going to do with that. And then that sets your intention. You've told us, we tell the world. And then if you don't do it, we'll all come round and whack you with a wet nightie. And that is the way it happens. We have to keep you on track, and that's what Join Up Dots is all about. So thank you very much for being here. Thank you very much for listening to this episode. And let's start each day being intentional, because things will go our way. Until next time, we will see you again. Look after yourselves. Cheers. See ya. Bye-bye.
That's the end of Join Up Dots. You've heard the conversation. Now it's time for you to start taking massive action. Create your future, create your life. It's the the only life you've got. And we'll be back again real soon. Join up dots, join up dots, join up dots, join up dots. Join up dots.